Hello, my friends. Today is February 23, 2025. My name is Sensei Alexey Kunin, and this is my life journey. Well, I was not able to come out on the videos because in Omaha we had a very extreme cold weather. We had an Arctic storm that was lasted for 2 weeks. And my dojo was extremely cold. I even canceled my classes because it was unreasonable to training in a dojo. Even so, I do have heaters. It's nice and warm, but it was like minus 11. There were days when it was minus 11 Fahrenheit, which is like minus 25 Celsius. So it was very cold. Finally, today feels like spring. The sun is out. Snow is melting, ice is melting. So it feels like spring is back. The energy is different energy. My classes will start on Monday, tomorrow. And I hope I'm going to see all my students back in training. I'm that kind of person who believe in a real hardcore training. When we pushing physically. I push my students very hard. Warming up, doing a lot of warm-up exercises. We do strength exercises. We do flexibility stretching, meditation before the class. Then we work on techniques. So I believe in hardcore training because I'm coming from an old school. I was born in Kyiv, Ukraine, but I grew up in California. But my mentality is still part of the Eastern European mentality. We're training very hard. There is no, we enjoy training. It's fun, but it's not fun like a club atmosphere. It's a discipline. It's hardcore training. So the whole point of dojo is coming and learn. Learn real martial arts, learn hardcore training, learning to push your body to your limits, see how far you can push yourself. So it's a mind and body training. And also my job as a sensei to show my students not just how far they can push themselves, not just train and shape them mentally, but show them spiritual ways, show them the spirituality. So I believe in a complete training experience. I teach traditional Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, and it's not a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. We don't spend our time on the ground. We would train hardcore standing and fighting. If we need to go on the ground, we know how to defend ourselves on the ground, but we're not going to fight on the ground. You have to be stupid to fight on the ground in a real combat. I'm a former military. I used to train special forces during the Gulf War, during the Panama War. So I know the reality of combat. I also, after my military service, I travel a lot to many countries in Europe, in Asia. I lived in Asia for 2 years. I also traveled to many Middle Eastern countries, to Australia, all over Europe, into many European countries. I've been to Central America, South America, the Caribbean. So I used to train a lot military people, mental people who are into military in combat, police. The mentality is you go on the ground, you will die. You have to stand up and fight. Because when you stand up and fight, you will fight. You can fight multiple attackers. At the same time, you can defend yourself against weapons. You go on the ground, you are kind of stuck there. You can only fight one-on-one on the ground. So even if you're a good ground fighter, you might defeat your opponent on the ground, but his friend, and nobody fights one-on-one, especially in combat, his friends will come from behind and they will finish you. So you have to fight standing. If you go to the ground, you have to get up immediately or find a way to get up so you can fight standing, so you can look around. You can use weapons around you, sticks, rocks, knives, anything that you can use to defend yourself. So Jiu-Jitsu, it's not a grappling art. It's a fighting, standing art, But if we need to go on the ground, we will fight on the ground, but we'll try as soon as possible to stand up and fight standing. So you can fight people coming from all directions. You can run if you need to run. Try to run on the ground. It's impossible to move around if you're attacked by 2-3 people. You're gonna die on the cement, on the broken glass, on the rocks. Come on, people, wake up. You have to be realistic when it comes to combat. Real combat is standing and fighting. It's okay to run if you need to run, to come back and fight another day. So like I said, I'm a former military. I've been in the army. I train a lot of people. My background, I have besides military training, I also graduated from U.S. Army Medical School. So I studied occupational therapy, physical therapy, behavioral science. Before that, I was trained as a combat medic. What else can I tell you? My philosophy is train hard, make sure your techniques are realistic and working. If they're not working, don't even use them. Because in traditional Japanese jiu-jitsu, it's an ancient samurai martial art. If the technique not gonna work, you're gonna die in a battlefield. So make sure you study your techniques, test those techniques all the time in the dojo, under control environment. Make sure your defenses against weapons, knives, sticks are working. Make sure you drill your techniques so your skill level is important, is good. Your kicks, throws, joint locks, chokes, working all the time. Make sure you transition from striking to choking to joint locks, fighting. It's very, very important. Your physical conditioning also is very, very important. If you're not physically conditioned, guess what? Doesn't matter how skilled you are, you're gonna lose a fight. You have to train your body. You have to be physically conditioned. You have to be strong. You have to be flexible. You have to have a balance and coordination. Physical strength is very important. Skill is very important. Endurance is very important. Mental training is extremely important. 50% of all the fights that you win will depend on your mental status, how strong mentally you are. So mental training is very important, and that's up to your sensei, how far he's gonna push you and train you mentally. He will shape you in a practical way so you become a warrior. So the whole point of martial arts is to be a warrior. Yes, it's self-defense, but the whole point is your real training has to be practical, training has to be realistic, and training has to be correctly done. Correctly, it means sensei has to be qualified as a good teacher. The techniques have to be realistic, trained in the correct environment with the correct attitude, pushing you physically to your limits so you know how far you can go, what is your limits, what is your endurance, what is your mental strength, how far are you willing to fight. And of course, your health. Health is very important. If you don't take care of your health, well, what's the point of training in martial arts? Because it's also self-defense. Self-defense starts with your health of your mind, body, starts with what you eat, what you do. So health is extremely important. If you drink, well, you have problems because alcohol kills your brain cells. Smoking will kill your heart, and at the same time, you will lose your endurance. So taking care of yourself, meditating, doing yoga, doing Tai Chi. I teach Tai Chi and Qigong. I also teach yoga and meditation. I teach physical yoga, which is a Hatha yoga. I teach meditation. I do energy work, healing work. Japanese systems, methods like Reiki, Chinese methods like Qigong, applying different Eastern techniques when I do my healing work. I teach my students how to restore the body because when we're training, you get injured. So you have to know how to restore your body. It's very, very important. So anyway, my name is Sensei Alexey Kunin. This is my dojo, Katabami Ju-Jitsu Dojo in Omaha, Nebraska. And I'm ready to train, and tomorrow we're starting classes again, and my students, get ready. We're gonna train hard, we're gonna push hard, and we're gonna try to be healthy. And there is an old saying, in healthy body, there is a healthy spirit. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.